question that was asked in the last webinar series we did together that I'm going to throw into this as well, because I think it's really relevant, is and it's a hard one. How can PPM help with predictability given the interdependencies of teams and the difficulty of understanding timelines with outcome-based roadmaps? So really kind of applying that to operationalization.
My audio had a hiccup right in the middle of you saying it. Will you say it one more time, because I missed the center?
Yeah. How can PPM help with predictability given the interdependencies of teams and the difficulty of understanding timelines with outcome-based roadmaps? Becky, you want to kick that one off?
So I would say number one, it's not easy because things are moving forward. Just like when people talk about agile, right? So how do you know things going to be done? So there are multiple variables coming into play. Therefore, that's why I'm a proponent of having a tool, is that it's humanly impossible. But when you have a machine, when you have the data, when you have things together, it can help you to predict at least where you are based on what has happened in the past. So in the past, I mean, I literally spent my Sunday afternoon for the last 18 years writing different updates, try to pour over the data, try to figure out different team, different vector of the goals, the progresses, the resources, and trade-offs. So when you start to have a tool, you actually do have ability to see, are we making the progress in terms of the outcome, right? Because you track the outcome separately. And then you say, are we making the progress in our roadmap? Because and these are two different things, right? And if your progress to the outcome is faster than you planned, you don't need to invest so much in the same roadmap. You can invest some other areas that are behind. So the prediction is really based on what has happened. You have a source of truth. You measure things and track them separately, and then give you the visibility to say, are we going to be on track to deliver the outcome? Are we going to be on track to ship the product? So hopefully we'll drive the outcome, or we need to make changes. What do you think, Rachel?
Yeah, I was just thinking about, like, there's a lot of different elements that are at play when you're trying to manage this. I agree with what you said. I think when we make a strategic bet, right, which is really when we set an outcome, right, we're very smart people, we're knowledgeable about our markets, we cannot tell the future. So strategy is a hypothesis, and we're making a bet. We're saying, we think if we do this, it will yield this result. And I think historically, a lot of our measures around those things have been very lagging indicators.
Right. We
do a whole bunch of work and we wait a long time to see if we're right. And what we're trying to get better at, I think, just generally as modern or technology organizations, is figuring out how to know earlier. Right. And so there's lots of ways to do that. There's lots of ways to, get early triggers, early information, test new features out. But all those tools are much more available to us now. And to your point, all of that is generating a ton of data at us. And so how are we leveraging that, taking advantage of that without Sunday afternoons being in front of the spreadsheet, right? To take advantage of all this wonderful information that's there so we can make better steering decisions. And all of that related to the way things depend on each other and the way things need to be sequenced and, how quickly we want to go in any direction. We can't fall back into those behaviors that rely on those lagging indicators. We have to stay on top of the early information, even though it may not be complete, even though it may not give us 100% answer. This is the challenge and the beauty of being a product person, is we got to take that information, we got to take the data, and we got to marry it with our instinct and make the decisions to help the organization keep moving forward.
Right. And I want just to add on to one more thing to that, is that quite often when we have a metrics, which is measuring our goal, trying to find the input metrics that leads to that. So if you find an input metric that's closer to your product features to hit the market, So then again, that finding the input metric, which is closer to the, you could say conversion feature adoption, not exactly what drive revenue, for example, but it's close enough. So if you find that input metric, define it for your goals and track that, it gives you ability to at least fast track some of them.